You guys obviously got some pretty big news in your wide receiver room this week. What was your kind of instant reaction when you heard the news initially, and what kind of momentum does that give you guys heading into next season?
Well, I mean, we thought it was going to trend in the right direction, but that certainly cemented that, made us feel really good, right? That's a lot of production, and the thing I'm most excited about in that room is that I don't think any of those guys have reached their full potential, right? So now you get a core group of receivers back, the young guys that we have behind them that are coming, and another year around the quarterback, with time and depth, space, and all the thing that goes into the pass game. The other thing, that's a really selfless group. They've been a big part of our run game, right, which has opened up play action opportunities, what they're able to handle in the game plan from a motion standpoint. That's a huge pick-me-up for our offense, right, getting those guys back, making sure we got them going into the bowl game, number one, but then going into the offseason, all those reps that we're going to get around the quarterback with a core group, big time for us.
Coach, I don't know how much you've been on the road. What's kind of been the focus that you've wanted to get out of this team the last couple of weeks?
To start off with in bowl prep, I think the number one thing you're getting is obviously you're getting bonus practices, right? So the number one thing for me is I think it's a great time to reset, whether with the older players or your younger developmental guys, getting back to 100 level basics, right? I mean, it doesn't matter. All the scheme stuff's great, but the game comes down to out executing people, right? Being able to have good alignment, assignment, technique. That's what we preached on them early on. And then obviously, the past couple of weeks when we've had these practices, we've been able to get bonus work on Tulane, which is a good group, different structure. Then we see the majority of the year we get it mixed in with some of the ACC teams. So that's been huge for us, just working on their odd structure, different things. So that's what we wanted to get out of bowl prep, a combination of both, right? Developmental work, back to the basics, and then implement our scheme that we're going to go run and play in Annapolis.
You mentioned a little bit there. What does Tulane do, especially stopping the run? They seem to be pretty effective at that.
I'll tell you what, they're really well coached, very sound, leverage the ball well, they tackle well, they're never out of position. There's some positives and negatives of that, right? They're going to be in position to make plays, but I think you're going to know where they're aligned. They're just a really solid group. I think they do a really nice job throughout the year of not necessarily stopping you from gaining yardage, but kind of slowing you down from scoring, right? They're a real bend but don't break. Tough to get over the top, leverage the ball well, so we'll have our work cut out for us.
Coach, as a whole, I mean, this offense has progressed. I mean, it's progressed very cool. I mean, from your perspective, what is it like to see this offense progress from where it was, say, spring, beginning of the season, to where it is now, where it seems like it's just firing on all cylinders?
Number one thing, it's a lot better. It's nowhere near where we want it to be, but we certainly are trending that way. It's the buy-in from the guys. I mean, that's been the best part for me, is watching that buy-in every day, watching our guys get better at everything we're asking them to do. That's been the fun part to watch progress over the year, and they've done a really nice job. Everything we've asked them to do from a scheme standpoint, from a technique standpoint, they're balled in, they have faith in it, and we've been able to go out and execute well at times in the games. We've got to continue getting more consistent.
You mentioned the trajectory. Just to have Kyron, those receivers, looks like the entire offensive line coming back. Not sure about Tootin yet, but just how much does that help to have that sort of core group together for another year and another offseason?
Well, it's huge. I mean, you think about continuity in anything you're doing. Right now, your foundation is built with what you're doing with a group coming back, so now you're able to really add those finishing touches, put a new doorknob on the house, put a new window in. I think that's the fun part when I think about it from a coordinator, is we've been able to progress what we've done schematically every week, whether that be shifts, motions, different alerts we do in the run game. Now to have that group together and continue heading in that direction, it's got a chance to be a real positive for us going into 2024 and the bowl game.
On Wednesday, signing day, obviously, you guys did the signing day celebration last year.
Yeah.
How special as a coach is that for you guys? You spend so much time on the road,
yeah,
meeting with all the families, to finally get a chance to celebrate the kids and have, it's just a fun day all around.
I think it's awesome. It's a little weird with the rules, right? We can't ever talk about the names of the guys, so we finally get a chance to announce them, even though everyone already kind of knows what's going on from a commitment standpoint. But getting the name on the dotted line, getting those guys signed, their families really joining our family, that's why it's so special, because you do put in a lot of time, right? It's relationship building. A lot of times this happens over the course of 3, 4, 2 years. So you invest that time, and you feel like you know these guys, and you're excited to get them with our program, with our family, and get to go to work with them.
I know you talked about the basics in terms of running the offense in a bowl game, but you get excited. You can perhaps open the playbook up a little bit more, add a wrinkle or two here or there about, certain package or a certain play you may be able to pull off.
Yeah, we always want to do something new in every game. Obviously, you're afforded the time to get some extra prep work, but they're afforded time for it as well, right? So I think, the best bowl games I've been a part of, whether that be, Fiesta Bowl, Cotton Bowl, any bowl game I've ever been to, Military Bowl when I was a grad assistant, the best team comes out and executes well. Right, that's it. Right, there's a lot of distractions, right, this time of the year, right, and they're good distractions, right. Go home, be with your family, Christmas, all those things. We're in a mix of practice, prep, on the road recruiting, all those things, and it's going to come down for the players and the coaches. The team that can go out and do the basic 100 level things at a high level, that's usually the team that wins the bowl game, in my experience.
Going back to Kyron, the spring game last year, it was a tough situation for him. I'd asked him about it before the season, and his response was, those linemen that were in front of me, they're a lot better now.
Right.
Stuff. His attitude through there, was there did you guys have to do some encouraging after that, and how has he come? How much has he come from just last spring?
Well, I think Kyron, you guys are getting to know him, right, as a media family here with Virginia Tech. I mean, he is as even keel as it gets, right? I mean, he's a guy, he's not going to let something that happens negatively or positively affect him a whole lot. He's going to be here. He's going to be excited in the games, right? He brings that momentum to us in the games with how he plays and the excitement that he plays with. But, all those things, I think he's progressed really well because he stays even keel all the time, right? He's never getting himself too high or too low, right? He's just playing the game, right? And I think any situation we put him in, we were able to see that. And then obviously you've really seen that confidence with him grow as he's played in games throughout the year.
Was that most important in those first few weeks when there was a lot of the growing pains that he was having to go through as a starter?
Yeah, I wouldn't necessarily say growing pains, but when you have a first-time starter, first time he's thrust into that role, that leadership role where everybody's looking at you to make checks in the offense or lead the group down the field, I think that's an adjustment for anyone, but I thought he's handled everything in stride.
Do you have any military connections just in your family, anybody who served?
My grandfather on my dad's side, who's passed away, Tyler Bowen, he served in the Korean conflict, so that would be the one in my family, and then obviously we've all been touched by it in some way, shape, or form in my lifetime. So this is a special bowl to be able to represent something that's so important, that fights for our freedom, that gives us the opportunity to play this game. I'm excited to be a part of the bowl.
You said you were part of it as a GA?
As a GA, when I was at Maryland, we played the Military Bowl. Who did we play? East Carolina when I was at the University of Maryland.
What do you remember from that?
Old RFK Stadium. That's when they played it there. It wasn't in Annapolis at the time. It's a great trip. I'm excited for it for our guys. I don't know how much it's progressed. Obviously, there's new sponsorships and things like that go through, but I think it's a great trip. Our guys get to be in the nation's capital for a week. Obviously, everything that goes along with that, if you hadn't seen that. So I think it's a really nice trip for our guys. But the most important thing, let's go get the win when we go play the game.
You mentioned how important everybody talks about the ball practices. What have you seen from some of the young guys? Has anybody stood out to you just in terms of what these extra practices have kind of shown you?
Yeah, without singling anyone out, I think they've all progressed. I mean, they get the opportunity to be thrust back in a situation. Maybe they've been redshirting and on scout team. Maybe they've been in various roles in the season. Now they get an opportunity to get back in the offense, get those valuable reps, maybe with the first group, maybe with the second group, so you watch guys shine, and I think they've all progressed throughout the bowl practices.
Tyler, how much of a challenge is it to balance both the bowl prep and then the transfer portal and recruiting? This seems like the most convoluted, chaotic time of the calendar in a very unhealthy way.
It's great that they do all this at once. It really tests your multitasking. No, you know what? I don't view it as a challenge. I don't view it as good or bad or negative or positive. It just is, right? It is what it is. I think coaches put together a great schedule for us. We've got a really nice balance of being able to get what we need to done to finish off, get what we need to get done to finish off the recruiting class, but then also make sure we're around our guys, retaining the roster, everything that goes with that, but also from a bowl prep standpoint. So I feel like our schedule's been great. Our guys have done an awesome job. They've been very flexible, and we always talk about on offense, just be present, right? Whatever you're doing. If you're with your family for Christmas, be present there, right? Have a blast, right? If you got a final, be present in your final, right? We're between the white lines, just be present in that period, right? If you do that, just take it one moment at a time, you got a shot to come out of this thing pretty good.